senors, it is I, Senor Batman, and I am here with your week 1, 2 wrap up. A crazy week. After week 1, everyone got their feet wet with the fantasy football americano. And now it comes time to really get into the meat of the season. I start moving forward to see if the people that won in week 1 could do it again in week 2. And if the teams that sucked ace in week 2 or week 1 could rebound in week 2. So let's take a look at the week 2 wrap up. We're wrapping it up, baby. Bend over. We're kind of wrapping it up, okay? Start off with top of the matchup. Tinker McTinkerton, who was 0-1, lost in week 1 versus Hurts When I Dicker, who was a winner in week 1. Well, opposite situation this time. Tinker McTinkerton gets a narrow victory, 107.5 to 101.64. What happened? Well, Jalen Hurts sucked a big old dick. He didn't do shit. He had 9 carries and he got a touchdown, but he threw no touchdowns. Only threw for 101 yards. Really bad. So might be a little bit scary there if they, and they won the game. They beat the Chiefs. So makes you wonder, like, oh boy, is this something you got to worry about? Running backs, both of them pretty similar. Receivers, a bigger difference. Nico Collins, T. Higgins did pretty good. Each had a touchdown. Nothing crazy though, but they both had touchdowns. Meanwhile, on the other end, 2 underperformances. Garrett Wilson, after week 1, comes back down to earth a little bit, only gets 7 points. A.J. Brown does better than week 1, but that was, I could have done better than them. So 5.2 isn't going to cut it, but he's there. He did get 8 targets this week instead of the 1 target he had last week. So, was it 1? Hold on. I don't want to lie. Yeah, it was 1 target, 1 reception, 8 yards in week 1. He gets 5 receptions for 8 yards and 5 receptions on 8 targets for 27 yards. Tight end, Brock Bowers came in for the injured week, only had a limited practice on Saturday, only put up 6.3 points. He did have 8 targets, so we'll just chalk it up as a bad game. Flex, Devontae Adams did very good, but Cortland Sutton did not. And the biggest thing of all, 9 points for Rams defense from the commissioner, -3 for Denver. Just straight up ace. Denver, they were the top-ranked defense. They did get 16 in week 1, but they got -3 in week 2. We'll see what they do against the Chargers, who is a pretty good team. And long story short, Tinker McTinkerton gets the victory. Next up, Fearboner gets demolished by Dan Daniels, 118.94 to 84.18. Both teams came in with no victories after week 1. Dan Daniels comes back. He doesn't score a ton, and the biggest reason is we'll get into the what happened. Well, Joe Burrow, hurt, done for the year, pretty much. That's going to sting. His backup tight end is, let's take a look. Justin Fields, who's also out, also got hurt this week. So he will be looking at the waivers for a quarterback this week. Running backs, Williams, Barkley, both did pretty good. Henderson had 3 holding calls, didn't do very good. Only 3 carries, 5 touches total, 40 yards. Not gonna hack it. He had to start Brian Robinson, only got 7 touches, didn't hack it. So, and Javonte Williams after 2 weeks looks for real. So, CeeDee Lamb, though, he did pretty good. Rashad Bateman did not do very good. Brian Thomas is scared of the ball. Mike Evans, 2 weeks, he's got about 8 points both weeks. I'm wondering if that's just going to be his normal. Unless he catches a touchdown, then you'll get, closer to 15, 16. Tight ends, Mark Andrews, just not even playable at this point anymore. Trey McBride, solid. Doesn't get touchdowns, though. Flex, Jalen Waddle got a touchdown. Kyle Pitts, kind of went back to his usual thing. Metcalf got a touchdown, but only 20 yards. Zay Flowers was very good. Baltimore had a good defense. So basically, long story short, nothing super crazy impressive. Nothing. Javonte Williams maybe you could say, but nothing crazy explosive for Dan Daniels. Just did enough. If Burrow doesn't get hurt, I'm sure this point total would have been a little bit higher. He had been in the 120s, maybe 130s if Burrow really came on late. Because he did have, they did almost lose to Jacksonville. They were losing when he got hurt. Mahomes did good over here, but other than that, Fearboner's already in a scary spot. He needs to figure out some things. He needs to maybe make a trade or something. He needs to make some moves to get his team back on track, and he really needs a running back. As of right now, I mean, even if you look at his bench, I mean, he's got really no one that's actually a starting, certifiable running back. Maybe a big gaffe in the draft. We'll see if that comes to kill him for the season and makes him sackle. But, you know, one trade, maybe he can turn it around. Next up, Bohex Pitt, Bill Cosby. Bohex Pitt with a big victory, 132.7 to 108.24. Both came in with no victories. Bill Cosby put up 108, not a bad score, but not a great one. Bohex Pitt came to play, 132. What happened? Both quarterbacks did pretty good. Aaron Jones got hurt, only 2.3 points for him. Chase Brown, though, once Burrow went down, he still got all the work, but he's not very successful with that work, only 7.5. Jamar Chase, 16 targets, 14 catches, 165 yards and a touchdown. That's the biggest thing. JSN, very good. McLaurin, Myers, didn't do much. This is the one, though, I want to point out. TJ Hawkinson, so far, only 4.7 points on the year. He is the 44th ranked tight end. Before the season started, many sites had him as their 4th or to 6th tight end, somewhere in that range. He is not delivering on that. Other than that, you know, Bretton Strange didn't do very much in his week. Things are weird in Jacksonville. Good, you know, I will give Bill Cosby a little vote of confidence. He does have a good team. They just all need to kind of link up and start going. Nick's had a good week. Chuba Hubbard, if Chase Brown can get his shit going. JSN, he's pretty good. His 2 flex guys, he's got 2 starting running backs in his flex. So he's got something to, you know, go. Seattle defense over on this side got 15. But really, Lamar Jackson, Jamar Chase, those are a bulk of the points, really. I mean, basically 65 points almost. 64 points, excuse me, of that 132 came from those 2 players. Osama Bin Laden versus the Hail Marys. Osama Bin Laden came in as the number 1 ranked team. Most points scored in week 1. 1-0. Hail Marys came in week 1, or out of week 1, looking like absolute dog shit, looking like a true rebuild. But Hail Marys gets the upset, maybe of league history. Just beats them 117.28 to 114.32. If you watch the week 2 preview show, you might remember that Osama Bin Laden was predicted to win. He had a 74% chance of victory and lost. Was projected 134. Hail Marys was projected 110. Let's take a look. What happened? Well, Josh Allen hurt his nose, and they got ahead pretty good, pretty early. Didn't do shit. Justin Herbert did what he's been doing, being a very solid quarterback. Derrick Henry, dog shit. There was a lot of jawing back and forth between him and the Cleveland defense before the game. Like during the week, they were talking about how he's not that hard to tackle, and Henry's like, we'll see Sunday. Well, 11 carries, 23 yards. I think he was pretty easy to tackle for them. They weren't talking shit after all. They were right. He did have Amon-Ra St. Brown go off, but he also had Sam Laporta do nothing. He had Jerry Jeudy kind of do okay. He had the defense. I mean, really the biggest thing, though, I think, is these first 2. Those are his 2 of his, like, probably his top 3 players, maybe even his top 2 players, did shit. Meanwhile, Herbert did good. Kamara did good. Benson, for what he is, in a pinch, got him 6.4. Not great, but, you know, in a pinch, it worked. Both the receivers, you know, 13 and 14 points, basically. Tyler Warren, 9 points. He's already tight end number 4 on the year. Looks like that was a solid pick. Krosky Merritt really fucked him on Thursday. It wasn't looking good, but he had Brandon Aubrey with 24.5 points. You got to love that if you are him. In Detroit, solid defense for him. So, narrow victory. Less than 3 points, but he gets it done. Hail Mary goes to 1-1. Osama Bin Laden to 1-1 as well. Next up, Slicey Slayers and High Quality H2O in a tough one. Both came in 1-0. High Quality H2O escapes with a victory, 2-0, 140.80 to 135.18. I believe these are your top 2 scorers as well. Let me look. Yep, these are your top 2 scorers as well. So basically, if Slay City faces anyone else, he wins. But what happened? Kyler Murray didn't do so good. Caleb Williams did pretty good for fantasy-wise at least. James Cook, Travis Etienne got some solid points. Omarion Hampton fucks him here. 23 for Nakua, 33 for Neighbors. Very close there. Jefferson did a little bit better than McConkey. Njoku did a little bit better than Smith. Both didn't do great. Excuse me. Hunter and Pickens. Hunter didn't do so great. Pretty bad week. That could be the difference right there. Look at what's going on here. So, and then really the other big thing is kickers are pretty solid, but defense over here, 6-13. You know, any one of these sway a little different. Slacey gets probably the victory, but instead he takes his first loss of the season in week 2, goes to 1-1. High quality H2 goes to the league leader, as we'll see in a minute here after we get to You Like That, beating the ever-living shit out of Kurosawa's Akiras. Both teams came in 1-0. Kurosawa's Akiras decided, I'm going to be really good week 1 and suck total ass week 2. So what happened that this happened? So just to go through this real quick. You Like That? Okay week. There were several teams around this 105 to 110 level. He was there too. He just happened to face Kurosawa's Akiras, who was pretty dog shit. Michael Penix, after having a 26-point week 1, only gets 5 in week 2. That's terrible for a quarterback. And I'm wondering if that's just going to be Penix's story for the year, if he's going to have these big weeks, and then these shit weeks when they just lean on Bijan. H.A.N. did good, but Brees Hall, shit after week 1. Harrison, shit after week 1. DJ Moore, I mean, honestly, it's what he did week 1. Same thing. It's looking like Rome Odunze's the guy, and Moore is just kind of there. He's going to get some catches, some targets, but it's not going to be enough. Kelsey was fine in the tight end position. Shaheed had a touchdown, but Smith, Schuster, trash. Just true trash. Lutz didn't do much. Washington defense didn't do much. Dallas did worse over on this side. But just some players that kind of came. Kenneth Walker showed up. His big free agency acquisition of the week. Quentin Johnston, big week. Good week for him. Romeo Dobbs. Like, a lot of people are looking at this team and going, yeah, he's going to have some trouble in receivers until he gets, who was it, Godwin and Rashee Rice back. Nope, he's 2-0. So that's kind of a scary thing to think about, is that, you know, in the near future, in the next few weeks, he might get some of these guys back, and he might become even more powerful. You know, because Baker Mayfield's solid. Christian McCaffrey is basically all that team has at this point. Ashton Genty, a little scary though. 5.9, 11 in week 1. You know, less carries, 30% less snaps in week 2 for him. 8 carries less. So you got to wonder what's going on there. But You Like That moves to 2-0. Kurosawa's Akiras moves to 1-1. Next, so standings. Your playoff teams right now. High quality H2O. You Like That. Osama's would be your bye weeks. Then you have Osama Bin Laden, Slacey Slayers, and Boax Pitt. Your tiebreaker or wild card in the 6th slot is in fact Daniels. Okay. I forgot. I can't actually look at this on here, but that's whatever. So your worst team right now though is Fear Boner. He is really struggling in the first 2 weeks here. Needs to get on track. Obviously, running backs are going to be a problem. Honestly, I think he needs to start going shopping with other teams and try to make something happen before the season gets too far out of hand. Or he needs someone to get hurt, and one of the players he has to be the guy that's the guy. So we'll see what happens there. Let's move over to the Fantasy Genius app. Okay, so here's your actual rankings. Power rankings, though. Your number 1 team is Osama Bin Laden. Now remember, power rankings is if you faced every single team every week. So you face the other 11 teams every week. Osama Bin Laden, high quality H2O, and Slacey Slayers all would be 17-5. They're tied for first essentially, but by points breaker, Osama Bin Laden is your points leader. High quality H2O is your second. Slacey Slayers is your third. Then you got You Like That and Boax Pitt at 4 and 5, at 4th and 5th, tied at that. Those records at 12 and 10. Then a true 500 is Damn Daniels. Then Kurosawa's Akiras. It Hurts When I Dicker. Tinker McTinkerton, Hail Marys, Bill Cosby, and then Fear Boner. Like I said, really needs to get it figured out. He's 1-21. He would only, if he faced every other team, he'd have 1 victory. That's not good, especially because right above him is Bill Cosby. He would have 7 victories. So, your top 5 scoring weeks so far: week 1 from Osama Bin Laden, week 2 from High Quality H2O, week 2 from Slacey Slayers in that losing effort. Then Boax Pitt, and then Kurosawa's Akira rounds up your 5th slot. Your bottom 5 is strangely enough. So Kurosawa Akira's, it's like a yin-yang. It's like, that Japanese shit you're like, yin-yang, Yin, Kurosawa Akira's is 5th on the highest scoring weeks of the year, and he's also 1st on the lowest for the yang. So only 70 points in week 2. He is the lowest, but then you got Fear Boners 1 and 2, Hail Marys, and Bill Cosby. So that is basically it for the preview, for the week 2 wrap up. Okay, so we took the week 2, we bent it over the counter, and we said, what happened? And it's told us what happened. Okay, I don't know why we bent it over the counter to do that, but we did that. All right, so that is all we got for the wrap up. Week 3 should shape up to be a usually the way I have always looked at fantasy football is you don't really know what's trends, what's real, until we get to week 3 or 4. So after week 3, I think we'll start to tell which teams are really good, what teams are really bad. I mean, you could have some hunches on basically just how the first 2 weeks went. But week 3 and 4, we can kind of really see if, one team is really standing out above the rest, or if a couple are standing out as the worst. I'm personally excited to preview week 3 and see what we have. So until then, I wish you all a great night. Adios!